We all play the same game. The battlefield may look different, but between those painted lines, the feeling each of us get alongside our tribe. Let the moment sink in, then let it rip. The runs out wide, last-ditch efforts and clean sheets. The tap-in or rocket to the top bins. The eruption of the 12th player that sends shivers down your spine. It's in the way we celebrate, because football is everyone's game. Play football.
Puts in the penalty and wins the grand final for Campbelltown City.
Yeah. How's the level up there?
All right, check mic 1, check.
Check, mic 2, check 1, 2.
Check, mic 1.
Check. Check, mic 2, testing.
Yep, just off the master. All right, check mic 1, check.
Check 1, 2.
Mic 1, check.
Check 1, 2, check. Check 1, 2.
Sorry, I missed that. Keep going. Check, mic 1, check.
Testing 1, 2, check 2. Mic 2, check.
Sorry. All good? Do you want it maybe? We can switch, you can use that.
Good evening and welcome to Jack Smith Park for this round 6 RAA MPLSA clash between Birkalla and MetroStars. Birkalla coming off their first loss of the season last week. It's FK Beergrad here at Jack Smith Park, and Metro coming to this game off a last-minute draw against Adelaide United. Joining me, myself, Mark Talbot, tonight is Simon Jimenez. Simon, how are you?
Going well. Friday night football feels like a little bit later than an 8:15. It feels like a really late kickoff, but going to be getting things underway shortly, which looking forward to.
What are you hoping to see tonight, Simon?
Action. It sounds like I had the privilege of seeing West Torrens Birkalla open sort of strongly despite finishing draws, I think, for the first 4 rounds. I think we got up to. Didn't put in their best showing last week, eventually getting out lost, so hopefully they can show a little bit better at home against MetroStars tonight.
And before we get underway, just an announcement that Scott Nagel is playing his 350th game tonight. As we are about to kick off, we will quickly go through the lineups with the home team first, Birkalla. We've got Adam LaCour, Colin Morris, number 6, Ryan Yates, number 7, Jonathan Dorigo, number 10, Charlie Devereaux, number 14, Nathan Enigento, number 18, Yoe Matsumoto, number 20, Nicholas Harpers, number 22, Alan Welsh, 26, Tarish Conway, and 77, Chris Christophilos, as we get underway here with MetroStars, kicking from left to right of your screens and wearing the all black this evening. On the bench for Birkalla, we've got Nicholas Woolley, the reserve keeper, Abdul Balamba, number 5, Reece Jurjevic, number 8, George Blackwood is returning from injury, number 15, Zach Becker, and number 16, Cameron Carlton, as Metro have the ball on the far side. And Visser gets an early touch. Your lineup for MetroStars is number 1, Cody Ostrike, number 4, Noah McNamara, number 6, Jackson Fortunato, number 7, Hamish Gow, number 9, Owen Windsor, number 11, Cameron Woodfin, 17, Thomas Visser, as the ball is not long, and Harpers will collect that for Birkalla as we continue with 21, Arby Mollis, number 22, Jackson Walls, and captain for this evening, number 23, Scott Nagel, number 25, Michael Cittadini, number 5, Christian D'Angelo on the bench, number 8, Christian Satira, Jake Porter on the bench, number 12, 14 is Eduardo Castaneda, number 20, Lionel Muhitira, and number 30, Urios Kutsombas, as Birkalla get the early ball through. Here's Conway, and McNamara comes round and defends that quite easily in the end for him and puts it out for a throw. So an early movement there for Burks.
Yeah, well, Conway's love to get on the board again. I think I counted he's up to 5 so far this year.
He's averaging a goal a game. I was going to say, that's a great return.
Well, to make that number even more impressive, 3 of them were in the first game against Para Hills, a hat-trick in the second half.
It was, that's right, and he came off the bench that game.
Yep.
As the ball's there, collected by Ostrike. And our officials this evening, our main ref is Christian Verdicchio, assistant referee 1 is Jaden Bederman, and our assistant 2 is Alexander Diamond, as Burks are really pressing high early to try and put Metro under some pressure, but they managed to play away through McNamara on the far side.
It seems to be when Burks are playing aggressively, that's when things work best for them, but those are some of their key players, and they've got a few key players back tonight.
They certainly do. I've noticed that they've got the ball there, and a shot from Dorigo, and Verdicchio's called a free kick, which I thought he might have called a little bit sooner. But they have got some players returning, Simon.
Yeah, Adam LaCour, Colin Morris, both back in the squad, and I'm told Nathan Enigento came off the bench last week, so the fact that you've got him starting, plenty of firepower, as well as very handy players at the back, just to give them that little bit of surety there, because they do like to press and first the action.
Yeah, LaCour did start on the bench last week. I was here for that game. He actually came off the bench at half-time for a injury to... I can't remember who that was now. Unfortunately, I will get you that for you in a second. It was, Ashworth, that's it. Happy for you to speak up there, Simon.
I wasn't sure if that's who it was.
It was, yeah. No, he did come off early. And one thing I have noticed straight away is the difference in the way Birkalla are lining up this week to next. Last week I was here for that game with Connie on the comms, and they lined up with a 4-3-3, whereas this week they've actually gone to a 4-4-2, which has allowed Welsh to play through the middle. Almost a 4-5-1, but they'll have Conway and his pace and his goal exploits available up top.
Yeah, he's just a live wire up front there. George Blackwood's not in the squad at the moment, but I think, did we end up seeing him line up on the bench? You mentioned you did see him.
He did. He is lining up on the bench, so he's another player to return who has missed a few weeks through injury. Here's Hamish Gow. Finds Visser. Visser's able to turn, but loses out to Dorigo. Dorigo looks to release Conway. It falls to Mollis, who managed to get past Enigento.
Going back to Blackwood, I really like the combination of him and Conway together. They're two very different types of players. Blackwood quite measured, very patient. I mean, Conway's just an absolute live wire at the front there, so enjoy watching the two of them play together, but plenty of attacking spark for Birkalla all round.
Yeah, and they've gone to a little bit more of a traditional 4-4-2 with a big man, little man front line at the moment. They've got Welsh up top, who we know is outstanding in the air. And as you said, Conway, an absolute live wire and very quick as he puts Ostrike under pressure there. So play that big man, little man strike partnership, which is what Blackwood also does very well. Here's Windsor. Great play there from Windsor. Holds the ball up and then spreads it out to Visser on the far side with Nagel overlapping. Here's Visser. Goes inside. Christophilos clears, but not very far, and wins the free kick.
The other thing that we're going to be lucky to see tonight is just with West Torrance Birkalla's pace, it's really going to force MetroStars, who they're a team that like to hold possession, like to pass, like to sort of control the game. They're not necessarily going to be able to play it on their terms tonight. This one's going to really bring it to them, so look forward to seeing how they deal with that as well.
Yeah, Birkalla very fast and very much a high-pressure team. I noticed that last week in their game as they go along looking for Welsh. McMurray picks up the pieces and goes all the way back to Ostrike. Oh, ball's gone through and almost falls to Chittadini.
Just managed to beat the offside trap there.
Here's Windsor. Morris knocks that out for a corner. First one for the evening after 6.5 minutes on the One World LED and Sportal scoreboard for all your indoor and outdoor LED solutions. As Hamish Gow will look to take this corner and swing it in with that deadly left foot of his. He goes near post and it's all the way through. Welsh clears only as far as Visser. Visser hits it and hits it high and wide and handsome over the bar. Birkalla able to set up again.
To hear your thoughts on Nick Carpenter. He's been a player that we've been talking about plenty, and he seems to be consistently in saves of the week at the moment as a keeper. Where do you think he ranks in terms of standouts in the NPL?
So far this year, he's been outstanding for Birkalla. He's really, I'd like to say led from the front, but he's actually led from the back and has been outstanding for them. And as you said, he's been in save of the week multiple times, but he's in some absolute fine form at the moment. I don't like to rank the NPL keepers, but he's been in the one game at a time team of the week. I think he's been in there 2 or 3 times so far, and we're only into round 6 this week. So he's been a bit of an ever-present, really. But he's been fantastic. Your thoughts? What do you think?
Well, I'm just thinking about one particular highlight save was in the cup round. There was one fingertip save. It was going from the left hand to the right hand. It was just sort of on that far edge of the 18-yard box. The ball looked to have gone beyond him, but he just stretched the hand back the side, and I'm talking literally fingertips. If the goalie gloves weren't quite as good, it would have gone through. It was just before half time. If we could go back and check that out.
And we have the joys of having replays and able to watch those games back as we are broadcasting on YouTube, the FSA Leagues, which is where you're tuned into at the moment if you're watching us. And thanks to the RA NPLSA.
Looks like Metro is settling in a little bit here. Don't you hold a little bit of possession and maybe not allowing Birkalla to have that fire that they had the first couple of minutes.
Nagel with the cross, looking for Chittadini, gets the head on it, and that's a great save from Harpers. We were only just talking about it, and he springs to his right, his left, and makes a save. Here's Walls. And we were just saying how good he's been, and that, Simon, just shows the form he's in, making a save like that.
Yeah, called straight to action. Noticed Gento went to ground not far from him. He looked to get up a little bit gingerly before, but all seems okay at the moment.
We'll certainly keep an eye on that. It's Fortunato. Goes back to Ostrike. And Metro seem to be settling with the ball a little bit better, and Birkalla just settling into a little bit more defensive shape.
tough one for Birkalla so far, because although they've sort of matched really good quality teams, they haven't managed to get results. And I mean, performances are good, but you need points at the end of the day, especially to make your mark at NPL level. Of course, it will be a return year, so a bit of a point to prove after getting that automatic promotion after finishing first in State League 1 last year.
Still with the ball, here's Nagel. Just looking for options. Birkalla working hard to close them down. And let's go back to Gow, who's come across to Fortunato. He goes wide to Walls. Fortunato for Metro. Gow. Mollis. Strike goes long, looking for Visser on the far side and just hits it over. I was going to say, Simon, what are your thoughts on RB Mollis? Has come into a great side from last year. He moved across from, I think it was at Olympic last year, and he's come in, started every game and settled in really well into what was a fantastic midfield last year for Metro, and he's made a position his own.
Well, I think it certainly helps when you're coming into a team that's already pretty established, and you can kind of see even the way they just move the ball when you compare it to West Tonga Birkalla, who I think I've counted 5 or 6 players have come into the squad. You expect it to take a few weeks, but when you've got a really well-gelled team around you already, I think that makes a huge difference. And you can see it now, just how well Metro pass the ball, and we mentioned that West Tonga Birkalla might try to put them under pressure as they just then get that little interception right on time. They're not really looking too phased. They're looking very, very comfortable.
Woodfin back to Nagel. Nagel looks to go line and finds Windsor on that far side. He goes inside. Gets it back again. Gow. Cut out by Yates. Devro plays it forward to Conway. Some nice play there. It releases Conway, but Ostrike out nice and high and is able to clear and find a teammate. But Birkalla win the ball back. And eventually goes out on the other side. And a quick round the grounds thanks to One World LED and Sportal for all your LED solutions indoor and outdoor. As Chittadini tries to beat Christophelos, but he gets back and wins the free kick. Modbury Jets at half-time are 1-0 up over Croatia Raiders. Adelaide Comets and Adelaide City are 0-0 after 4 minutes. It's only just kicked off. And in State League 1 at half-time, SA Panthers 1, Adelaide Blue Eagles 2. So I did believe that South did take the lead in that game, unable to hold on to it till half-time under new coach Greg Vidian there. And plenty of fixtures this weekend to get out and watch or tune in on the FSA leagues, the RAA MPLSA.
Well, on the topic of that, I think West Torrens Birkalla's WMPL team are going to be one to watch tomorrow right here as well.
Here's Chittadini. Looks to take inside Christophelos, goes outside and gets the cross in. And there it is, and Windsor's unable to turn that home, and the ball's cleared only as far as Nagel on the far side. But Windsor really should have finished that. Here's McNamara, swings in a deep cross, and that goes all the way out for a goal kick. Simon.
He'll be kicking himself after that. I looked for sure I was singing Nick Huff's praises just before. There's nothing he would have been able to do to save that one on the other side of the goal. But, yeah, let's be honest, sort of fluffed on the line with that one. Pretty disappointed for MetroStars to get 1-0 up for 14 minutes in. Would have been a big start and sort of really force West Torrens Birkalla to sort of dial up the way they're trying to press even more. But not to be.
Yeah, he really should have scored that one. Chittadini did all the hard work on the wing. And here is Christophelos on this left-hand side, who looks to go down the line.
He's going to have the night ahead of him, I think. Him and Matsumoto on the other side.
Yeah, they certainly will be. It's a great battle. Great battles all over the park, though, when you look at it, Simon. The little 1v1 battles when you've got Christophelos against Cittadini. You have Jackson Walls against Nathan Anajanto. On this near side, you've got Matsumoto against Visser on the other side. It's just great little 1v1s all over the park. Yates looking for Matsumoto on the far side and finds him. Up against Nagel. Goes around outside and gets the cross in, whips it in. Only as far as Ostrike, who calmly takes that at the near post. And looks to go long. A great throw out there and finds Nagel on the run. And Metro already past the halfway line. I'm unable to find his teammate there, but Burke's come back again. Conway on the far side. Keeps the ball. Matsumoto does really well and gets past two, but can't get past the third in Scott Nagel.
I think it's the sort of pace that West Orange Birkalla are going to want to maintain. It's definitely a task to do that, but if they can put MetroStars under pressure and win balls midway down the park, as they did just then, and counter-attack quickly, that'll be one of the keys for them, I think.
It seems to be the way they've settled in is they're going to be quite happy to have Metro keep the ball and then win it as high as they can and counter-attack and go as quickly as they can, but it's a matter of how long they can keep that up for. It's a tall order, a big ask to be able to keep that type of intensity up for 90 minutes.
I think they've got players that are capable of it, though. And Janto, Conway, they're just players that they really like to run. Even Yates as well, as he comes and takes a sliding kick of it.
Here's Welsh. Finds Devereaux and Janto inside of Conway. Conway finds some space and hits it. It rebounds out. McNamara clears and then Walls with a bit further. Visser does well to win the header, and Vidico's played the advantage, and Harper's out very high, and he's happy to see that one go over the Jack Smith Park club rooms. But very eventually well played there from Metro to get out, and Metro aren't afraid, but they also attack very quickly as well.
Yeah, especially really, really wide, which is why we mentioned before, I think the fact that Matsumoto and Christophelos in particular are just going to be really working hard tonight. So, I mean, you talk about physical battles on the field, I think they're going to be two that are one to watch. Two to watch.
Yeah. Here's Fortunato for MetroStars, brings it forward, finds Walls, goes to Cittadini, looks for a bounce pass, and Walls gets it back and is fouled by Anajanto. Anajanto sporting the headband. Gone are the days where I'd be able to wear one of those playing.
Did you do the headband back in the day? Was that one of your things?
No, it certainly wasn't, that's for sure. I never had the long hair to do it. I did do the helmet for a little while. Fortunato with the header there and out for a throw. That was the closest I got, Simon, was the helmet.
I'm counting 3 headbands for West Torrens Birkalla of different varieties. I've got to say Matsumoto's always has a bit more swagger about it, somehow.
He certainly does, yes. Low strike. McNamara for MetroStars. Comes back across to Fortunato. Oh, and a bit of a loose pass there. And Devereaux wins it for Birkalla and is able to play. And Conway hits it. And saved by Ostrike.
Looked like Welsh was getting ready to follow that one up, but that's the danger of Conway. He just sort of stays in those dangerous areas, and he's quite slippery the way he gets in there and wins it up high.
That came about from a bit of a loose ball from Fortunato, but both teams now with a clear-cut opportunity. Here's Cittadini. He goes wide to Visser. Visser against Matsumoto, goes outside of him, hits it left foot, and it goes over the bar.
Not a bad shot from there, but I would have thought Cittadini, at least from where we're looking, at least he possibly could have even had a crack at it. Just that ball, just a little bit behind Visser, so he wasn't able to take it on that first touch.
But that's both sides now, both having clear opportunities at goal. We've seen Harper's make an absolute cracking save and a couple of opportunities that have been blazed over, and Burke's now with that really good opportunity there for Conway, and he'll know he'd want to do better than that to get the ball in the back of the net, so he'll be disappointed in his current form.
MetroStars are playing that build-up quite confidently, and maybe that's what sort of led to that loose ball there. I was watching him, and the centre-backs looked like they were pretty far apart there, with the West Torrens Birkallas just floating around, so it'd be interesting if they just try to play it a bit more safe from here on in.
Christophilos with the throw, and he'll probably look to go long and find Welsh, and does. Welsh looks to win the header and eventually wins the flick. It's bouncing around. Devereaux comes away with it, and Christophilos recycles. His Yates looks to go from about 35, 40 yards out and sees that one go high, wide, and not very handsome.
Sort of seemed like he was getting ready to take that one in slow motion. Looked like a whole, you know, what's the opposite of a recall? He was just setting to absolutely launch that, but not to be. Yeah, I wouldn't have fancied his chances from that far back, but may as well give it a go.
Well, that's it. He has hit a few good ones in the past, that's for sure. He's got it in the locker. McNamara looking for Windsor to run onto this up against Morris, and Morris is happy to knock that one out for a throw-in.
On the topic of that, you don't get any goals from not trying, and you know, we could probably just rewind a couple of minutes to where Cittadini didn't have the shot there, and maybe wishing that he did.
That's exactly right. Gow back to Fortunato. Wide to Walls. He's under pressure quickly from Andy Janto. That's a strength of Birkalla at the moment, is that they have really forced Metro and put pressure on them early. I'll straight back to out to McNamara. McNamara looking for probably the man in form for MetroStars at the moment in Woodford. He scored a hat-trick last week. He's got, I think he's got, what's he at the moment, 4 goals this season. Him and Windsor are top goal scorers for Metro with 4 apiece at the moment.
57th, 70th, and one more at 94, just to sneak in that hat-trick last minute.
Yep. Here's Gow looking for Cittadini with a great little ball in through. Cittadini takes an extra touch and then prods his shot goal bound, but very comfortable save there for Harpers.
Yeah, he just struggled to get it under control a little bit there.
It just wouldn't sit for him right.
Yeah.
As we see Metro boys stroll past us for their first warm-up.
I find it really fascinating, the stat that West Torrens Birkalla didn't get a result, a win or lose result inside 90 minutes for the first rounds. Then we had the cup game here, still didn't happen near the end of 120 minutes, and took 5 penalties to finally get the win against Adelaide City. So, I mean, for them to come up to NPL and hold teams to that.
Here's Andy Janto on his favoured left, and he unable to hit that goal bound. Enough pressure there from Walls. Does very well, but Burke's another sort of half chance there for them.
Yeah, I mean, they've had plenty of chances and scored plenty of goals so far, but just managing to differentiate themselves, as I was sort of mentioning before, that's been the challenge so far. So, as I said, 4 draws from the first 4 rounds, and last week going down 3-1 to FK Beograd, who haven't exactly been in form as of late.
Well, they're starting to find their form now. They've got 2 wins on the trot in the league, and they're up against a Playford side next. Here's Morris for Burks. Burks managed to come away with it in the end, and Matsumoto goes long, but cut out by McNamara, and here's Gow. And just going on the goal scoring and things like that at the moment. Birkalla have scored the 2nd most goals in the league, but they've also conceded. They're 3rd best in attack, with 9 goals. But the 2nd worst defence in the league. They've conceded 11, so only Yeah, only Para Hills have conceded more. So
well, Para Hills, of course, had that 8-1 defeat as well, I think, round 2. So
they did.
That's not going to help those stats. But,
no.
Yeah, it ultimately tells a bit of a story, doesn't it?
It does, and that ball goes looking for Conway, and Ostrike takes that one. But, yeah, they're certainly able to score goals. The only teams that scored more is Metro and Playford. But Playford scored 8 in one game, and they've scored 16. So they're able to score, that's for sure. They've just got to tighten up at the back a little bit, and might get some results go their way.
I'm just having a bit of a look at the lineup. Of course, Adam LeCormanu came into the side and has just come back from a short little injury stint. So that's a very experienced player, but new to this side. Colin Morris back in the side this week as well, so he spent some time away. So perhaps just trying to get things settled at the back. It'll be interesting as this season goes on to see how that develops.
Cut out there by Fortunato. But, yeah, you're right, and that's the thing. They've also played around with the back line in the fact that the fullbacks have changed as well. Christophilos has not played every game. Andy Jando's played at left back, and so they really have sort of changed it. I know last week they had Jurjevic and Ashworth at the back, so it's been a bit of a mixed bag for them in the back four ranks, whereas you look at the likes of Metro, who have had almost a consistent back four week in, week out, so it can make a difference. Here's Yates with the corner, in swinger, goes far post. Welsh gets on the end of it, knocks it back, and Gow's happy to clear, and then further by Cittadini, and Visser can't run it out. And Dorigo wins it for Birkalla. Very well done there from Dorigo. All the way back to Harpus. Harpus finds Christophilos.
Just looking at that stat that you mentioned in terms of...
Here's
I'll pause for a second.
Finds Welsh. Welsh looks inside for Dorigo, who can't bring it under a spell, and Walls comes away with it and finds Cittadini. Cittadini goes inside for Woodfin, and Metro start to settle on it again, as you were saying, Simon.
I was just thinking that's the usual pace that we see here at the moment. End-to-end. Yeah, just looking at those stats. So conceded 3 goals, West Torrens Birkalla, in round 1 and round 2, then 3 goals last week with the changes. So perhaps they were starting to settle in a little bit, but with the changes possibly disrupted things a little bit.
Certainly could have, but in saying that, the third goal last week, there was no way anyone was stopping that. So that free kick was just an absolute quality free kick from Lorenzo Baselli, who managed to put it in top corner. Cittadini crosses looking for Windsor, cleared by Lecornu, further by Matsumoto, and Dorigo is able to eventually clear it and put it in the apartments across the road.
I heard you chat on the topic of Baselli, you chat with him midweek.
We did. We had a chat with him on the One Game at a Time podcast on Wednesday night, and that was a fantastic, just to see his career and how he's ended up here in Australia, which is great. He has come across from, he's actually an Italian boy from Como, which we've had a couple of boys from Como come over. Ball falls to Cittadini in the end. He goes to Walls, but behind him, we've also got Marcus Toriani, who plays at Raiders, is from Como as well. They didn't actually know each other. They met each other for the first time here in Adelaide. And the other player that we've had from that area is the one and only Fausto Urba. Here's Walls with the cross. Goes all the way through, Matsumoto clears. I was lucky enough to see Urba play a number of times for Adelaide Olympic, and what a striker he was. Here's Arby Mollis. Can't find a way through. Woodfin goes wide to Walls. Walls looks to cross and does, but too close to Harpus, and Harpus will claim that one all day long.
It's a small world, isn't it? It's funny how you get little connections to strange places all around the world. But one of the things I enjoyed about your chat with Lorenzo Baselli was him talking about the US college rules and how they differ a little bit.
Oh, yeah, they certainly do differ. The one I did actually like was the stop clock, where they play a lot more minutes in a game. And that's something I know that Arsene Wenger is pushing at FIFA at the moment. But we'll go back to Nagel on the far side quickly. He crosses. Gow can't quite get there, and cleared by Lecornu.
There seems to be no need to stop the clock here, though.
No, we certainly don't. It is end-to-end. I'm not expecting much time added as we approach 30 minutes of this game on the One World LED and Sporter scoreboard for all your indoor and outdoor LED solutions. Here's Visser, crosses. Cleared by Christophilos. Nagel wins it back for Metro again. It just seems to be the way at the moment. Burke's unable to get the ball out and hold on to it. Here's Fortunato for Metro. Ball goes inside to Windsor. Windsor looks to roll. Morrison does eventually bounce off him and finds Visser on the far side. Visser cuts inside on his right, finds Windsor. Windsor hits it with the left, straight at Harpers, and Harpers is quite happy to punch that one away, and only as far again as Nagel and Metro recycle through McNamara.
Metro at the moment just seeming far too comfortable attacking here. And West Holmes Birkalla just letting it advance far too deep, but they finally pick up possession now and might be able to cook something up, or would have liked to.
No, certainly I think they would have liked to, but Gow able to pick that up. But here's the scary part I've noticed, Simon. Every time Metro go forward, one of the midfielders will push further forward. He'll go, and then they lose the ball, and there's already another Metro midfielder already covering. It's just crazy how quick they cycle through and rotate. Here's Matsumoto on the far side, puts it out for a throw-in. And the attacking third for MetroStars.
They carry it so deep, MetroStars, don't they? They just need those reinforcements in the middle to gather it up. They have no problem advancing it up the wing at this point.
All the way back to Fortunato. Mollis loses out. Here's Conway. Manages to keep the ball. He finds Morris at the back. Morris comes wide to Christophilos. All the way back to Harpus. He goes long but doesn't quite hit it right, and Chittadini cuts that out and gives it to Gow. Gow can't find Woodford, and Angiano comes away with it for Birkalla. Does very well, but Arby Mollis tracks him back. You are joining myself, Mark Talbot, and Simon Jimenez on this RAA MPLSA Round 6 clash between Birkalla and MetroStars here at Jack Smith Park. There are two other games in the RAA MPLSA tonight, and that is Mowbray Jets and Raiders, who Mowbray Jets are 1-0 up, approaching the hour mark, and Adelaide Comets and Adelaide City are still 0-0 as they approach 25 minutes. Christophilos looks to find Welsh, and that's overhit, and Welsh knew that and didn't even bother jumping for that one. And in State League 1, we've got South Adelaide Panthers are playing Adelaide Blue Eagles, with Blue Eagles 2-1 up, approaching 60 minutes there. Here's Visser on the far side. He's able to cut the ball back, but cut out by Yates. He clears. Only as far as Nagel again. Nagel picks it up and goes back to McNamara. McNamara goes line again. Here's Nagel. Goes outside and finds Woodford. And eventually wins the throw on the far side.
As much as MetroStars are just playing with all sorts of confidence at the moment, I've seen this happen before against West Torrens Birkalla, and that's usually when they pick up a loose ball and strike. They've certainly got a bit of swagger about the way they do things, MetroStars, the way they build it from the back. They just pass so quickly and so confidently. But you've got players like Conway, and Welsh has got a high position there as well, just lurking. Just going to be really careful.
Yeah, Metro do need to be careful. We need to be conscious that Burks can score out of absolute nothing. As the ball goes out on that far side and gives it away to Birkalla. But yeah, they can sort of pounce out of nothing and score that goal. Danny Greystone, coach of Metro, will be very wary of that. He would have watched a few of the Birkalla games since the start of the season, as we have played 5 rounds. Birkalla win the free kick in the middle of the park.
Just having a quick look at the table here. So West Torrens Birkalla said it's currently sitting in that 11th position, but mid-table is so close in NPL and the WNPL that you get 3 points in one game and things can just change really, really quickly.
Yeah, they certainly can, and that's the thing. It's real being so close. Here's Welsh with the head. He wins it. McNamara doesn't quite clear it, and Angiano picks it up, but unfortunately he gives it away to Chittadini. Here's Windsor. Holding off Morris. Morris forcing him back and does very well. And that's a short pass, but Ostrike does well to clear that and sets Woodfin away. And Christophilos does very well and deals with that. Finds Lecornu. And he in turn goes out to Matsumoto, who very luckily, right, on the second chance gives that away. And here's Woodfin. Eventually they crowd him out. They go all the way back to Harper's. But as you're saying, that mid-table is so very close when you look at Beergrad, who are currently in 10th spot on 6 points. Adelaide Raiders are on 7th and they're sitting in 5th. So it's and even so, when we say that, West Torrens, Birkalla and Modbury Jets both on 4 points, so they're not out of it by any stretch of the imagination. So it's scary how tight this league currently is after 5 rounds.
Another interesting table observation. Playford, who of course came up with West Torrens Birkalla at the end of last year, they're one of those mid-table teams which has taken up 3/4 of the table at the moment.
Yep.
Currently sitting on 8th on 6 points, and they had a bit of an impressive start to the year as well, I think.
They certainly have. They've won. I think they've won 2 games, and they absolutely pummeled Para Hills 8-1. I was fortunate enough to be at that game and saw some absolute cracking goals, and what a day that was for Playford. But yeah, they're sitting in 8th, and it's scary when you think about how well they've started. I think that's Woodfin's just going to get the trainer, but it'll be interesting to see if he can continue. He did signal to the bench. I'm not sure if he was signalling for a change or just for the trainer, so we'll keep an eye on that.
We mentioned the pace sort of at the start of the half, and it really has been consistent.
Certainly has been, as we see Woodfin receiving treatment. This is the first break we've had, really. Even the throw-ins have been quick. They've been taken fast. The corners have been taken fast. Everything's been taken at pace. So this is our first real break. The players are certainly happy to get some water on board. It's not cold out here, but it's certainly not hot either. It's probably about 18, 19 degrees at the moment. Clear. So it's fantastic weather for football, but it just hasn't stopped.
Yeah, well, I packed the beanie and hoodie tonight after freezing last
week,
Friday night at Adelaide City against Modbury Jets.
Yep.
But no, the weather's, although we've got daylight savings, you know, reverse out,
Yep.
all of a sudden the temperature's gone up. So
looks like Woodfin will be safe to continue. I know that Danny Greystone will be happy with that, in the fact that they are missing Fabian Barbiero at the moment. He should hopefully be back in a couple of weeks, as we've got Cup Round over Easter, which is next weekend. So they're hoping he'll be able to return the weekend after. Balls with Metro and Ostrike at the back. He builds up through McNamara. He goes and finds Windsor, who then in turn finds Visser around the corner, and Visser's able to run. Tries to play in Windsor, but Lecornu cuts that out. And as far as McNamara, though, he keeps the ball and goes to Nagel.
just having a look at that schedule in terms of MetroStars over Easter and the following week. Modbury Jets next Saturday night at
In the
home
Cup.
in Australia, Federation Cup. The following week, Playford, who we were just talking about.
Yep. Well, it's certainly not easy games by any stretch, but I dare say I wouldn't mind betting that betting the Cup. I'm wondering, we've seen it already, that Metro and Modbury Jets may rest some players for the Cup, but we'll have to wait and see. We've got to get through round 6 first, which kicked off tonight as Gow looks to find Visser, and I think it was Nagel that won the free kick there before that ball.
You mentioned resting players, but I wonder for Modbury Jets, who have been struggling to find form, do you just try to put out a more consistent team and just keep that momentum going?
Yeah, the way I see it is certainly the way forward is just to try and keep a settled side going and not make too many changes and hope for the result. As cleared there by Lecornu. Windsor is certainly one to not stop running, and certainly running those channels for Metro to use as an outlet. But yeah, This will be a very interesting weekend, next weekend in the Cup. We've still got, I think we've got two or three State League 2 sides still in it, a couple of State League 1 sides still in it, and then more than a few of the NPL sides still in it. Here's Gow at the top of the box, cleared by Morris. Great time tackle there, and Fortunato happy to go all the way back to Ostrike, who goes long looking for Cittadini, but Gow's going to get on the end of it, but just a little bit too long, and Harpers collects for Birkalla. As Morris goes long, finds Conway, who wins the header first and finds Yates. Yates goes wide for Matsumoto. He's up against Visser. Looks to take him on, but double teamed, and Nagel takes that one over the line for a throw in. As this first half has flown by, as we approach 42nd minute, should I say.
Here's an interesting observation for you. West Torrens Birkalla, 2 consecutive cup rounds on a Thursday night at home. Something a little bit different.
Oh, that's nice. Get the game over and done with. Here's Christophilos with the volley, and he just sends it just wide. He had Ostrike scrambling there, but I think in the end Ostrike knew that was going wide, but great effort there from Christophilos. And as we said earlier, Simon, Burke's under a lot of pressure, but could actually get that half chance and make it count, and they almost did there.
Well, despite the way that MetroStars have been, I mean, when you try to sum up this game, you've got to say maybe looking a bit more convincing in terms of how they go about it. But even though West Torrens Birkalla seem to be a little bit more intermittent with their chances, they're still happening, and it's still all tied up on the scoreboard at the moment as well. So despite how they're looking, it is still even.
That's exactly right, and that's the thing. Metro haven't been able to make their pressure count. That's the thing. And here's Dorigo for Birkalla, does well to keep it and finds Anajanto, who looks to go long and switch for Welsh, but doesn't quite hit it right and goes all the way through to Ostrike. Another player down for MetroStars. Just going to try and work out who that is.
Trainer's been called over quick, smart, and
Yep.
whoever it is, they haven't got up yet.
I think that's Nagel, actually. Yep, it looks to be Nagel that is down, because there is no left back at the moment. So so that is Scotty Nagel, his 350th game. So the trainer's just gone out to see him. As I said earlier, the game was booting along, and I wouldn't expect any time added. We've now had two stoppages. I need to keep my mouth shut.
This is the sort of game that quickly makes a liar out of you. You talk about, the ball being intercepted, and then it's intercepted again. Yeah,
exactly. Last week I opened my mouth and I said Riley Stam was going to score for FK Beergrad tonight, and then he went and scored 3 minutes later. So it hasn't quite worked out in my favour this week. It's as I said about the stoppages, but it is Scotty Nagel as he's helped to his feet. Good thing is he's up and moving, so I'm hoping that that's just a...
I did spot through the binoculars. It looked like there was possibly an ice pack being held to his side there, but I couldn't quite tell just the way he was laying. So no, it's looking like a significant limp now.
It certainly is. He's hobbling off, and it'll be interesting to see if he can get back on the pitch before half time. Metro may just take the risk and continue with 10 men just for the last few minutes of this half and see how it works out at half time, and then if they need to, make the change then. But it looks like D'Angelo's getting himself ready.
Straight to the tunnel.
Yep, so that's Scotty Nagel ending his 350th injury, which is not the way you want to end such a milestone game. And it looks like D'Angelo will come on for Scotty Nagel.
Seems like the year for milestones for MetroStars this year. Of course, 30th year Saw on social media their president celebrating a birthday
He
today
is,
as well.
yes, Rob Rendy. Happy birthday, Rob.
60th and 30, half of his life in service to the club, which is pretty impressive.
Oh, that's just phenomenal, that. Here's Windsor, brings that down really well. Gets around Yates, goes wide, finds Visser. All the way back to McNamara. It'll be interesting to see how MetroStars reshuffle when they do make that change. Visser looks to get in behind Matsumoto and Windsor and beats him, crosses, but only as far as Harpers, who claims that one. So it'll be interesting to see, Simon, what Metro do here, because they've lost a fullback, and on the bench is D'Angelo, who is an out-and-out centre-back. So it'll be interesting to see what they do, if they go to a back three or if they just put D'Angelo, or they move someone else to left back and put D'Angelo on centrally somewhere. Fortunato.
It'll be interesting because they're using the width a lot in their build-up at the moment. So do they try to keep that going, or maybe the extra centre-back might be a way to deal with Birkalla, because they do like to play that extra loose striker up there. So it will be fascinating to see how they respond.
And that's half-time. Only an extra minute played, time added of 1 minute, which I thought might have been a little bit more. What did you make of the first half?
It went quick, didn't it?
It certainly did.
To be perfectly honest, it's a bit of a typical game from both sides at the moment. MetroStars, the way they pass the ball, it's very signature of them. They got the attacks going and moved the ball really, really deep. But West Torrens Birkalla picked up those loose balls on occasions and created their own opportunities. So, yeah, I've seen West Torrens Birkalla more this year than I've seen MetroStars, and I think you're just going to be really, really, really wary of them, because they can change the complexion of a game really quickly.
Well, that is the first half played here at Jack Smith Park in the RAA MPLSA round 6 clash between Birkalla and MetroStars. Simon and I are going to take a quick break. Join us in a few minutes for the second half.
We all play the same game. The battlefield may look different, but between those painted lines, the feeling each of us get alongside our tribe. Let the moment sink in, then let it rip. The runs out wide, last-ditch efforts and clean sheets. The tap-in or rocket to the top bins. The eruption of the 12th player that sends shivers down your spine. It's in the way we celebrate, because football is everyone's game. Play football.
Labasso, a nice run forward, only him and Bartuli, and just couldn't quite get there.
What's the save?
Wins the corner though, but Bartuli. Usasa sends it into the area, and it's Vaughan. Leaps in and tips it over the crossbar, and if he did not, that was going to rock that net.
Goes line to Tavares. He then touch it to Voigt. Voigt with the touch inside, hits it, and that's a great save from Delingus.
Jason Konstantinopoulos one-on-one with Lazeka. Crispin Konstantinopoulos with a shot. Late tackle maybe, but great save there from Barbaro. One final chance for the Blue Eagles. It's a good ball in. It's got a flick. It's got a second one, but that's an unbelievable save from Sebastian Matosevic. We said Oscar Moore's man of the match, but he's kept 2 goals out. They were clearly going in the back of the net.
He's made some unbelievable.
away only to MetroStars though. Edge of the box here, Visser. Now Gow with a little flick, Visser back in the box, and then the finish by Hamish Gow to get them 1-0 up early on.
What a goal.
Oh wow! Oh my God! That was insane! What a way to equalise!
Brian Murati, only as far as Mullen. Mullen hits it with the outside line. Can you believe it? Mullen with a second outside of the right boot. Mine's going to take it, and he does. And he picks his spot, and he finishes with a bomb. And that's his hat-trick, and the 8th goal for Brayford to make it 8.
Baselli being to it by Caden. Now finds Anthony Costa, top of the box, goes with his left foot. Anthony Costa gets a second. He's got a brace in the first half, and he's taken Adelaide Croatia into a 2-0 lead at half time, David.
That's a beautiful finish. He just picked his slot out perfectly there, but gosh, Neograd have just left themselves exposed there.
On the back of the announcement at the celebration of football, MetroStars will be investing $50,000 into a coach education fund. $35,000 will be invested into community coach education, 19 courses at club venues and over 500 community coaches. Working closely with clubs to develop and upskill coaches will strengthen the grassroots community, which will obviously benefit the football community as a whole.
It can only be beneficial because most of the clubs, most of the coaches start off just as parents coaching their kids' teams, and they're learning on the job as much as the kids. So this would be perfect because not only would kids be getting coached, the coaches will be getting coached.
As a club, we struggle to attract good coaches, and having this sort of funding coming our way will actually allow us to sort of offer more boys and girls out there to actually coach at the club. Everything comes at a cost these days, and this award presented to our club here again will allow our average parents, supporters, players to the opportunity to come out and actually to take on coaching and to be part of it. They've got a passion about this sport and a passion about this club. They'll be able to come here now, get trained up, and actually take on a team and just move forward with us here.
The remaining $15,000 will be invested into a joint initiative with MetroStars, Adelaide United and PSV, where selected coaches and technical directors from South Australia will be given the professional development opportunity to go to PSV in October 2025.
Once you get the bug for the coaching, you love it, and you love seeing the kids improve, especially the connection to your club. You want to see the kids come through at your club, and it's just a win-win for everyone.
Something here, plays out to Panagakos, and it's Panagakos! What an absolute cracker. Alicia Panagakos kicks off the season for Adelaide University.
And I mean, if Alicia keeps the play rolling, sort of into the ground,
has it to the blue box, has a shot, it's gone in, Tomley and Bonner, and Christos, who we were talking about just a minute ago, has had a very good last 20 minutes and just come right into the game. It's 1-0 up.
Through to Yamada. Good turn. Needs to find an option. Might even look to go for herself. Nini Yamada! Makes it 3-2 for West Adelaide. 20 minutes left.
Such a quality player to have in this competition. Long shot there by Notridge. It's gone in! Well, it was just a speculative effort by Notridge. And it looked like Elliott never picked it up, and Comets have taken the lead.
Coles Mini Roos is more than just football. It is a place to find our feet, learn new skills, and meet new friends. A place to start small and feel 10 feet tall. To have fun and laugh, to build confidence from the ground up. A place to belong. Football starts here. Find your place. Join our team.
We all play the same game. The pitch may change, but the stakes are the same. The ball we desire, the moves we admire. Because football is everyone's game. Play football.
Ghana United is like home football.
It's always been our goal to move into State League.
Here it's a very family culture. There's a sense of oneness between the Resis, 18s, seniors. Everyone just feels like brothers.
You know, it's like how they say, you train the way you play, but actually when you rock up game days, we actually play like our heart is the last thing that's left, you know what I mean?
I'm loving it. Really good culture, really good environment. It's going great so far in the preseason.
Our culture, you know, we open the door, every culture comes to mix to us.
Ghana United will be a club that can play football, simple football, a good football, that we will be in the next couple of years moving to the NPL.
Very thrilled, very excited.
Expect to see some rainbow flicks. That's what makes us Ghana FC, man.
He'll make its way through to Nicola despite the deflection. Here's Hazelwood, who does well to control the ball with the head. Hazelwood storming into the area, tries the shot, great save. And that should give Elliott a bit more confidence. He's done really, really well there. That ball was travelling.
Here's Hood. Just needs to finish. Gets it past Murphy. Needs to have some sort of hit. And Murphy manages to backpedal and make the stop.
Coles Mini Roos is more than just football. It is a place to find our feet, learn new skills, and meet new friends. Football starts here. Find your place. Join our team.
Adela Atletico is being built on 6 pillars. It's about respect, about community, fairness, development, technology.
Atletico is become a family, a big family.
This club's got a lot of opportunity to grow. There's a lot of potential here with all the players and the boys, and it's just like a very good place to be at.
We want to be competitive. We want to drive and develop our culture. We've gone out and we've got a few experienced players. I mean, I've gone and got a very good goalkeeper. We've got a really talented Argentinian guy and a couple of older players.
We're a good quality of boys. All the boys are already in a few weeks, they're getting really close.
We want to make sure that everybody that plays at this club feels that they're getting the benefit of our coaching group.
We literally do what we preach, which is let's just play.
Puts in the penalty and wins the grand final for Campbelltown City.
Welcome back to Jack Smith Park for this round 6 clash in the RAA MPLSA between Birkalla and MetroStars. As we go 0-0 to kick off the second half. And thanks to One World LED and Sportal Scoreboard for all your indoor and outdoor LED solutions. Quick round the grounds, Mobbery Jets 2-0 over Raiders as they approach 90 minutes. 0-0 at half-time between Adelaide Comets and Adelaide City, and the State League 1 game between Panthers and Adelaide Blue Eagles is Adelaide Blue Eagles 4, Panthers 1, and Panthers also have had a red card in that game. It's not been the best of starts for the new coach there at South Adelaide, and we'll keep you updated on those games as we go through the second half here. We know of one change for MetroStars due to the injury, very late injury to Scott Nagel, and they have brought on Christian D'Angelo, and it looks like the change is going to be McNamara moves to left back. Fortunato's going to move to the left side of the centre back pairing, and D'Angelo's going to come in on that right hand side of the back. At the back, as Christian Verdicchio gets us underway and Burke's kick off. Turning around, going left to right of your screen in the yellow. Metro in their all black away kit. Conway eventually gives away what I thought was a free kick, but play on. Here's Walls, goes back to D'Angelo. And Ostrike for Metro. He'll bring it out this side to Fortunato. McNamara gets his first touch at left back. He is a natural left footer, so seems a logical option there, Simon.
Yeah, especially how they like to play it up the wing as well. It'd be interesting to see if they get a bit more success. There were parts where they dominated play in that first half that were rewarded for it ultimately. And on the flip side, Birkalla just a couple almost opportunities for their just persistence and pressure.
As Metro get the early corner off Lacornu. Looks like Cittadini's going to take this one on this near side for MetroStars, and right-footed in-swinger. And he goes near post. He goes all the way through. No one can get the vital touch on that at all in the end, and eventually goes out for a throw on the far side to MetroStars. But that was a dangerous corner that was whipped in there by Cittadini.
Especially D'Angelo absolutely flying to that one.
He will certainly throw himself at the ball. That's a given with D'Angelo. Here's Jackson Walls on the far side. Finds Visser, who gets into the box and tries to get the cross in, but goes wide, and Harpus will casually stroll around to get the ball and take the goal kick.
They didn't look overly phased that time, West Torrens Birkalla, when they played it so deep. But they're going to have to be careful because they love to whip it in from that really, really deep position.
Harpus goes long looking for Matsumoto, but McNamara wins the head to Cittadini. Cittadini flicks it inside to Windsor. Windsor finds Visser. Visser loses out to Devro, and Anajanto goes long looking for Conway. And that one's going to go over the far sideline. And there's a look on that far side. I didn't see him in the first half, but that looks like Antonis Pagonis doing the camera work this evening. The man is out and about and everywhere. He does everything. He's a commentator. He's a photographer. Writes articles for the front page. Does it all. It's an interesting ball back to Ostrike, who brings that under and goes long looking for McNamara, who's got a little bit of leeway to play high, and that was unintended win of the head there. Here's Dorigo. He's surrounded by 2 players very quickly. Yates goes all the way back to LeCornu. Here's Harpers for Birkalla. He goes wide looking for Anajanto. Walls wins it. Yates comes through and wins that one back and turned over again. Neither team able to settle at the moment, Simon.
Yeah, at this point of the game, it's really hard to know which way it's going to go. Both teams just sort of trying to play the game on their terms, I think it's safe to say.
Here's Welsh, goes to Conway. Conway in the box. Tries to get the cross in. And it goes through to Ostrike and he keeps it in, saves it going out for a corner. And comes wide to Fortunato on this near side. He finds Windsor. Windsor finds McNamara. He goes back inside and finds Gown. It all goes all the way through to Visser. Then to Woodfin. Woodfin dances inside. 2, past another one. And save from Harpers. Here's Cittadini. Cuts it back and eventually cleared by Yates. Simon, what a move by Woodfin and unable to finish it with a finish.
I was thinking in the couple minutes lead up to here, I didn't really know what to make of this game. It's just been sort of end to end, but just then goal from Woodfin could have really seen Metro just get finally a little bit of momentum. They haven't been able to build. I think that's been the issue. We've seen really neat passages of play, but no momentum for either team.
Great movement there from Woodfin, and like I said, he's the man in form at the moment. Scored 3 last week against Adelaide United in their comeback result there to get 3-3 in the end. But beautiful play from him, and just in the end, just lacked the final touch to put the ball in the back of the net. Here's Welsh, all the way at left back at the moment. He's having to come quite deep to help out. Metro with the throw. Fortunato. D'Angelo back to Fortunato.
You can see after those little moments like we just saw from Woodfin how it just changes the confidence and body language in the play. Straight away you see it with MetroStars.
Here's Visser on the far side, great switch, and he pokes it in, and it's just gone wide of that far post. I thought that was nestling in the back. Harpers thought so too, but Simon, it just gone past the post.
Make that 3. I thought the exact same thing. I thought it was just going to tuck in on that far side, but it didn't. So a bit of a get out of jail free card for West Torrens Birkalla. But I guess the concerning thing, 2 very near chances in the last couple of minutes. So we're talking about momentum. I think well and truly with MetroStars at the moment. But again, just going to be really careful because West Torrens Birkalla have a way of turning things on their head.
They certainly do, and MetroStars really needs to make this pressure count, and Woodfin's very lucky not to come away with an injury there when he trod on the ball. Here's Anajanto. He finds D'Angelo. D'Angelo back onto his left and hits it and sends that one over the bar, and that was a great opportunity for Birkalla.
That was going to be a Birkalla moment, very almost there. Just as simple as a fumble in the middle of the park, no fault of anyone, and just how quickly Birkalla were potentially able to take advantage. Such is the roller coaster of emotions from time to time at Jack Smith Park.
This game is providing everything at the moment, just not the goals that we want to see. Those chances are there, they're brewing, but neither side able to make them count at the moment. As we get the game back underway, here's Ostrike. He goes to Fortunato. Fortunato looks inside and finds Hamish Gow. Mollis. He spreads it wide to Jackson Walls on the far side.
Not to get ahead of myself, but can you imagine if it was another draw?
Gow finds McNamara, who bursts into the box and crosses. What a ball, and Harpers cuts that one out as well. And then he throws long, looking for Welsh, trying to get on the break, but Welsh unable to keep it in. Gow gets the ball moving again quickly. Cittadini. He looks to beat D'Angelo but can't, and Matsumoto comes away with it. He gets that cut out by Gow, but Burks eventually come away with it. Gow, Conway looks for Welsh, and that's cut out by Mollis. The ball shifted quite quickly through the midfield there for Metro and out to the other side to Jackson Walls, who slows it down. Walls cuts inside. Here's Mollis. He's surrounded by Burks, and they come out through D'Angelo, who's a little bit loose there, but Ostrike on his toes and out the box to take that one. Here's Fortunato. McNamara goes inside to Windsor. Windsor to Chiodini. Finds the run of Gow. Gow turns and trips. Eventually wins it back, but tackled by Lacornu. Matsumoto keeps the ball and goes to Dorigo. Finds Yates inside. Yates played for the free kick and wins it.
It's interesting to watch MetroStars being forced to play at this pace, because we're seeing those little errors, and it's not necessarily skill errors, it's more just
under
almost,
pressure.
Yeah, just the pace is almost a little bit too quick for their feet, which is just fascinating to watch.
It is very fast, and that first half went through so quickly that it's scary that we're actually already 10 minutes through this second half.
Going back to what I said a bit earlier, like imagine if it was a draw. It's strange to imagine that, just given the pace and how aggressive it's been this particular game, but it's just strange when you see both teams just really go for it like this. It's always just a strange result, but it's a lot of games.
Here's Dorigo, finds Conway just outside the box. He looks to cross and does, and Ostrike comes and claims in front of Anajanto as Burks look to make their first change for the evening. It's going to be a double substitution. We'll keep you posted on that one. It looks like Blackwood is going to be making his comeback. And he's going to come on. Here's Welsh. Looks for Matsumoto, who just can't quite bring that under a spell. And eventually ball goes out for a corner on the far side. And they're going to make this change now on the corner. We're just trying to work out who the other change is. It is number 16, but he's not on my team sheet. So I'm just waiting to see who that is. It looks like Yates is making way. And also Conway as well. So Blackwood will go on up top. I'm just trying to work out who number 16 is. Bear with me 1 second. I will get that for you. The only one I could think of maybe is Classen Thomas. We will find out. Here's the corner for Matsumoto on the far side. He will take the in-swinging corner and does. He looks to go in the middle, and it's fallen eventually to Blackwood. And here's Dorigo, Anajanto, and he can't wrap his foot around it and sends it wide. So we will work out who number 16 is for you, but he's certainly not on our team sheet, so we will double check that. But he's gone on in the midfield for Yates.
It'll be a bit of a different look with Blackwood coming on now for Conway as well.
Certainly will. Striker. Yeah, it certainly doesn't have the pace of Conway, but certainly has the experience. Played around the A-Leagues and Asia as well, so certainly brings professional level experience with him. Cleared by D'Angelo, flicked on by Woodfin, only as far as Morris. Morris knocks it back. It's a little bit of aerial ping pong at the moment. Windsor gets it to Visser. Visser looks to use his pace, but his touch is too long. As Blackwood brings that under control. Tries to get inside and does. Beats one. Finds D'Angelo, who hits it and sends that one just over the bar. And Ostrike could only stand and watch that one.
A couple of moments for West France Birkalla happening now. It's only been about a minute or so since those substitutions. I guess one thing that Blackwood does bring is just the ability to hold up play up forward.
Yeah, he certainly does. Number 16 is Cameron Carlton. As Gadicchio points to a goal kick. So young Cameron Carlton has come on in place of Yates. seen him at all this season. Just going back through the lineups of the 5 previous rounds. Acuna wins the head there. Haven't seen him come on at all this year.
Just watching him now, he's pretty pacey. He's in that central midfield area. Looks like he's going to maybe provide a little bit of support a little bit further back.
He's sitting in probably a little bit deeper than Devro, just providing that cover. Here's Fortunato for Metro. Cittadini plays it round, gets it back from McNamara and looks to beat Matsumoto, but can't. In the end, Burke's come away with it, and there is Carlton. Finds Devro, who in turn flips it around the corner for Welsh. Welsh to Dorigo, who tries to find Anagen on the far side, but cut out. Here's Mollis. And eventually loses out to Carlton. And here's Anajanto. Does well to keep hold of the ball and wins himself a free kick. Anajanto just using all his experience there to win that free kick. Does very well. As a One-World LED and Sportal Scoreboard update for all your indoor and outdoor LED solutions. We have full time at Modbury and Raiders, and Modbury taking out the 2-0 win there over Raiders. And in State League 1, South Adelaide Panthers losing 4-1 to Adelaide Blue Eagles. So with that, Modbury go to 7 points in the table. Here's Matsumoto, finds Welsh. Welsh finds Matsumoto, he crosses and does so. And it just over the top of Ostrike, and Blackwood can't get on the end of it, but he does now. He's forced wide. Gets the cross in and cut out by D'Angelo. Only as far as Christophilos. He's happy to recycle through Morris. He looks to cross and does. Fortunato clears for Metro, but only as far as Carlton. Here's Blackwood. Carlton finds Dorigo and happy to keep the ball.
Fascinating to me watching just how different West Torrens Birkalla when they make one single player change. Blackwood for Conway the way they attack is just completely different. Going from like a real pacey attack to a team that are just a lot more capable and comfortable holding the ball in deep areas. And so far, I've counted 3 opportunities for them. So just getting a little bit of momentum against MetroStars now.
And Metro looking to their bench. They're going to bring on Porter. Who has scored this season. He's going on in place of Visser on that far side.
Visser had some moments in that first half.
He did. He unfortunately hasn't not finding the same sort of form he had at the very start of the season. But he's only young and he's still learning. But great opportunity for him. So he makes way for Porter, who's moved across from Adelaide United in the off-season. As Ostrike goes long, Carlton wins the head. Eventually, Devereaux puts his boots through it and allows Blackwood to run onto it, and he fights with Fortunato. And Verdicchio finds that fighting is a free kick, but it certainly does change the way they attack now with Blackwood on. Like I said, they don't have the pace, but he brings so much more in terms of experience and the ability to hold the ball and bring other players into the game.
I was enjoying that little battle.
That battle?
It was unfortunate that it came to an end with the whistle.
Devereaux looks for Blackwood down the channel. Gow gets there first and clears it over the sideline, and Blackwood felt that one. As Verdicchio is just having a chat with one of the bench of Birkalla, just telling him to keep it quiet. Matsumoto takes this throw and goes long looking for Welsh. Welsh doesn't win it, RB Mollis does. Eventually cleared by Cittadini, but not very far, and Gow puts his foot through that one. Here's McNamara, but cut out by Carlton. Been impressive since he's come on, young Carlton. He's been certainly amongst it and getting his foot in there and using his pace to help out defensively. Here's Matsumoto, does well to turn away and then gives the ball away, unfortunately. All the way back to Ostrike.
Yeah, Carlton, as you said, we did a little bit of a scramble there to find out a little bit more about him, because he's not a name that we've seen on team sheets this year, but so far come on and pretty capable as he wins the ball right there. He does get a whistle, but went in strongly.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was always going to be a free kick. Woodfin using his body well there to get it in position and take the knock. Here is Woodfin back to Fortunato. Angelo all the way back to Ostrike. He goes inside to Gow. Gow turns and comes out to Fortunato on this near side. He goes over the top, finds McNamara. And Dorigo tracking back there and covering Matsumoto and knocks that one out.
Such an arm wrestle at the moment. You honestly can't pick who's going to be the likely one to get in front. I think, honestly, the way we're going, looks like we could end up finishing where we are at the moment.
It's certainly looking that way at this present moment. Neither team making their chances that they have had count. And both of them, when they do get in those positions, they're just lacking that quality in the final moment, that final pass or that shot on goal. We've had a couple, and a couple have obviously been saved by Harpus. As we approach 65, tick over 65 minutes. And we've got a goal at the Adelaide City game. Here's McNamara. Oh, goes down, but the ref says play on. Thought D'Angelo may have got a touch there, but Vidico didn't think so, and it plays on. We've got a goal, like I said, in the Adelaide City game. Adelaide Comets 0, Adelaide City 1 have taken the lead over Adelaide Comets at their home ground in the city on West Terrace. And that's a dangerous tackle there, and Cittadini felt the full force of that one.
With that Adelaide City versus Comets game, though, we're probably going to see that, and Comets get 2 back in extra time as well. Their season so far has been easy to go by.
Yeah, exactly. The champions of late goals, that's for sure. Especially at their ground. At their ground, that's for sure. I don't think they've scored before 88 minutes, to be honest. No, I think
is that a real stat?
I'm not sure. I'll have to have a look at that one. I'll check that one in a minute. I have got some stats, so I need to check that.
The cup round might prove you wrong there.
Yeah, I don't take the cup round into consideration. I'm talking league only.
While are you looking at the stats there, suss out late goals for Birkalla and Metro. I'd be curious to hear that one. Sent into the middle by Metro. He chips it, but it's gathered. The whistle goes as I would look to run away with it there. Sorry, I'm taking you away from the game.
No, you're right. I'm happy.
Your library of notes.
Yep, I'm just checking the stats. You keep going. That's the joys of.
Well, we're discussing this stats Bible at halftime and how impressed we are with some of the stats that are available to us. It really paints an interesting picture of both previous games and the teams we're looking at. But an opportunity from the spot now for MetroStars. Short to Gow, launches it from distance. This will be dangerous here. Back and forth, and a call for MetroStars. Ultimately cleared by West Torrens Birkalla. Bit of a bump, and West Torrens Birkalla thought there was a free kick in it.
Of all the stats, I can't find when goals have been scored and in time frames. I'm still looking. See how we go.
MetroStars still in possession. They'll play it back though. Thought about crossing it in from the opposite side for a moment. All the way back to Fortunato.
I can show you typology of goals. I just don't have anything at the moment of how late the goals were scored, but we do know that it has been very, very late.
Do you want to have a quick look?
By all means, go for it. See what you can find.
I can picture it in my head exactly what I'm looking for.
And if you find it, Simon, it means I need to look at my Bible more. As Chittadini has the corner on the near side and will look to end swinging, he does. He goes far post, and he goes far post, and that's all the way out the other side, and McNamara is going to not keep that in.
You know what the stats won't tell you? That as soon as you look away from the game, after giving no goals after 70 minutes, that's when something's going to happen.
Yep.
I think it's this column that's just a little bit cut off. So goals scored in match dynamics. MetroStars is from the first 4 rounds. I believe that's 5 after the 76th minute.
Yep.
And Birkalla, just 1. So if you're talking in terms of just when they tend to score, you probably have to favour
MetroStars at the moment. And we just look at Comets, they've actually got 4. So there we go. And as we said, the stats man that provides our Bible, it's very impressive, that's for sure.
That's our little side quest for the second half.
Yep.
The deep dive.
It is, that's right. And that's what we aim to do.
The other stat that we were talking about at half-time was that interesting result for West Torrens Birkalla last week, because their first loss of the year, but held possession more, a lot of passes in that final third, and a lot of shots even as well, but despite the result not going their way.
Yep, and that's it. That's what can happen when you don't make those opportunities count. They had more touches in the box and things like that. They just couldn't make it work for them in the end against FK Belgrade, who ended up coming away with a 3-1 win. Here's Chittadini for MetroStars. Looks to go outside and tries to beat Carney. Gets the ball across, and Papas is scrambling at the back, and it's knocked out of play by Christophilos for a corner. And there has been another goal in the Adelaide Comets Adelaide City game, and it's before the 60th minute. Adelaide City have taken a 2-0 lead over Adelaide Comets in this RAA MPLSA Round 6 weekend of football.
I'm just thinking, I did give Adelaide Comets some credit for late goals, but Adelaide City probably deserve a little bit as well, given they scored 2 after 90 minutes.
Gow goes far post and cleared by Lecornu. Dangerous ball there with Fortunato coming around the back. That seems to be their go-to at the moment, Simon, is that far post delivery.
Going back to the stats, I noticed MetroStars, very good distribution of the corners. More well-rounded, let's say, than all the other teams.
Yes, and we do have that breakdown. Here's Chittadini. And that's been tackled by Dorigo, and Christian Vidicchio's called a free kick. Dorigo's not happy about that one.
Christian Vidicchio stormed up with quite a bit of authority. I thought he might have even been going for the card just the way he made his way
Rushed
over
in there, yep. MetroStars, their distribution is normally front post and central, which tonight's been complete opposite. Everything seems to have gone to the far post tonight. Here's Chittadini over the ball with Gow. Looks like Chittadini who will hit it, and he does. He goes near post, and it's cleared by Birkalla, only as far as Porter, and Arby Mollis cleans up and keeps the ball and goes all the way back to Jackson Walls. And Metro will come again. Here's Hamish Gow, currently sitting in the left back role. He looks for the switch, doesn't quite hit that right, and Jenner cuts it out, but only gives it to Mollis, who in turn gives it to Walls. So Burke's just unable to hold on to it there.
Here's another side quest for you. Just looking at the results of the raffle. I've got numbers either side the one that won.
Damn. That's a bit unlucky, that. Here's Carlton, who goes in hard against Chittadini, and Chittadini comes away with it but gives away the free kick. I'm not quite sure how you've managed to get either side of that, considering you've got every number there in that region except that one.
I'll tell you what, it's a very generous wine giveaway, and I'm not even really a wine drinker, but I thought let's support the club. And you know who doesn't like a comp?
Yeah.
But yeah, somehow ended up with
Birkalla
56, 58, not 57.
go to the bench again. Dorigo makes way. And it's number 7 off and number 15 on, which is
Zach Becker.
It is. And also Metro goes to their bench as well again. And their 3-goal hero from last week makes way for the return of Satira, who's been out injured for the last few weeks. So great to see him back on the park for MetroStars. He's one of the other substitutions in Porter with the ball. And there's the first yellow for the evening. Looks like it's gone to Alan Welsh.
Yeah, the temperature of this game just starting to lift a little bit. And I think given how back and forth it has been, I feel like we deserve a goal here.
Well, that's it. That's the thing. It has been back and forth. It's been fast. We do deserve a goal or two. It's just a matter of who's going to be the one to break that deadlock. As D'Angelo will take this free kick.
We haven't seen the sort of chances that we saw in that first half as well. There's a couple of opportunities right in front that either team would have really been kicking themselves for missing. Not so much in the second here.
No, certainly not. Here's D'Angelo. He looks to go long and find McNamara in behind. He managed to bring it down. Gets past Matsumoto, but not past Becker, who clears. And finds Blackwood, who dummies it, and not quite on the same page between him and Welsh. Here's Fortunato. Gow. Short pass, and Enigeno cuts that out, and he's able to run at Dorigo. He goes wide, but only as far as Walls, and also wins the free kick. And D'Angelo goes into the book as well now. Going to see a few more cards. Now that we've seen the first one, we'll see a few more, I think, come out now.
I think for that one, Gento will probably be happy he won that free kick. He was sort of choked up in that position. He had his support players sort of not in the right position for him to offload, so we'll have a go from the spot here. Probably not a bad outcome from that.
Yeah, he certainly did well to win the free kick, because he did give the ball away in the end to Walls when he tried to look for the pass. Be interesting to see what Birkalla do here as we approach the just gone past 75 minutes. We've got Charlie Devereaux over the ball and Christophilos. We know Devereaux can certainly hit them. Is this too far out for him or not? And I think he's going for this, and he does. And he hits it, bounces right in front of Ostrike, and he does very well to handle that one with that bounce right in front of him. And he's distributed that very quickly, looking for Cittadini, and Matsumoto's happy to see that one out over the line. But what an effort there from Devereaux from what would have been 35 yards, Simon?
Yeah, just doing the math there. Would have been about that. Decent shot from there.
He hit it very
well.
well.
Yeah, that really awkward bounce.
Yeah. Ostrike didn't hold it straight away, but he did very well just to have soft hands and allow that to drop right in front of him. Here's Becker down this side, and he's able to keep the ball in. He cuts inside and crosses, but cut out by Mollis and out for a corner to Birkalla. Again, this game is still end-to-end, Simon.
That's a pacey run from Becker there.
I thought it might have slowed up as we approach 80 minutes. I thought they'd start to tire and the game might start to slow down, but it hasn't been the case at all.
Yeah, well, Becker has got fresher legs than most, but I think just before we saw Andy Janto win that free kick, he looked like he's a player that always runs a lot. He looked like he'd possibly a little bit slower. But, I mean, the opportunities have dried up a little bit for either team, so I think maybe there is a little bit of starting to get low tank.
Burks will take this one from the near side. It will be a left-footing in-swinger. Christophilos goes near post, and Ostrike gets a hand. Does well enough to get to the 18, but Becker cleans that up, and Cittadini gets a foot in. Here's Porter. Gow. He looks for Cittadini, but cut out by Matsumoto. He just hits that and tries to get someone in behind, but overhits it and goes all the way through to Ostrike.
And Janto is floating around that rough area. Wasn't too far off getting into a favourable position for him. Walsh wasn't too far away to support if needed.
Here's McNamara with the flick. Here's Windsor, gets into the box. He crosses. And there's Porter on the end of it, and he's unable to keep it down, and it goes over the bar. That was another great opportunity there for Metro. And again, just lacking that final quality touch, Simon.
Yeah, well, we're waiting for one of those really clear-cut opportunities to show in the second half. We've been saying that that's the thing that's lacking. I think that's where it was.
Certainly was. And Porter, who has scored this year for MetroStars, he scored in the 5-1 win over Raiders. Scored the 5th goal. Unable to put that one under the bar.
He looked like a blur running up to it, so I don't think there would have been any stopping him if it did connect, right?
No, it certainly wouldn't have been. And Satira looks for Porter and can't find him. But a great play from Windsor. But it did surprise me a little bit. Windsor didn't sort of go towards goal a little bit more and maybe look to shoot himself. He did look for the cross. But that was came about from a long ball from Ostrike, and McNamara with his height able to win it. Here's Welsh. He finds Becker on this near side. Becker goes in behind looking for Welsh, and Welsh can't bring that under a spell inside the box, and knocks it out for a goal kick again. Simon just lacking that final touch, that final bit of quality needed in those areas.
Absolutely. Give Zach Becker some credit though. He's had a couple runs up this near side for us and opening opportunities when he does it. Just as you said, just that final part of the puzzle not there.
Here's Carlton. He does well to keep it moving, and here's Becker.
Right on cue almost.
Yeah. Unfortunately gives it away, and Mollis picks up for Metro and goes back to D'Angelo, and Metro will just slow this down and look to play out from the back again. McNamara tucks inside and manages to keep it. Here's Fortunato. Goes across to D'Angelo. He in turn goes back to Ostrike under pressure from Blackwood. Ostrike will look to go long and does. He looks for McNamara, but he's not going to get there anywhere near that one. And here's Carlton, and
came in strongly and confidently there, didn't he?
He certainly did. McNamara certainly played for it as well. But Windsor throw, and Windsor looks to go past Matsumoto, and the ball eventually goes over the line for a throw-in to Birkalla.
Minutes. Nothing on the scoreboard.
Burke's going to their bench for what will be the final time, I think, tonight. It looks like Anajanto is going to make way for Balamba, who started last week. He's going to come onto this near side, and I think they've pushed Becker out to that left-hand side, which they have.
Becker's been handy as a pacey option out there near side now that they've got a little bit of pace on either side.
Well, they certainly do, Simon. Balamba's certainly quick as well. He's also scored 1 goal so far this season. And that was in the 1-1 draw in round 4 with Adelaide Croatia Raiders. Here's Welsh. He looks to cross and only gets it as far as Fortunato, who knocks it out for another corner, and Christophilos will come all the way across to take this one. As we have played 82 minutes of this end-to-end game here at Jack Smith Park in the RA MPLSA round 6. Christophilos will swing this one in, and goes far post, and it drifts over Ostrike, who I think just got a touch, and Jackson Moores will clean up on the far side. He'll come away with it and does, and goes long looking for Windsor, who rolls the Cornu and then wins the head, but the Cornu eventually manages to work it all the way back to Harpers, who then just knocks it out for a throw.
Pondering if we were to see a draw here in about 10 minutes from now, how the two teams would consider it. Strangely, I think it'd feel like a loss for West Torrens Birkalla, you'd have to say. They've only gone away with 1 point too many times so far this season, and it's reflecting in their ladder position.
Yeah, but Metro, I think, would also be thinking they should have won that game with Windsor missing an open goal effectively and they've probably had the more clearer opportunities to win this game, to make it count. I think Birkalla would come away knowing that if they've got a draw out of this game, considering those chances, they've done well, considering they are sitting in 10th at the moment, and points are very much a precious commodity at the moment for them. I know they've drawn 4 games, they've only lost the 1 game, but it's just turning those draws into wins is what needed, really. But Metro not in the best of forms at the moment. Here's Becker on the far side, loses out to Walls. He goes long, but goes out on the far side. And as I was saying, Simon, Metro not in the best of forms at the moment. They lost to FK Beergrad the other week. They did manage to beat Gawler in the cup, but it wasn't easy for them. They should have won by a lot more, but they did make hard work of it. And then they were lucky to. When I say they were lucky, they got a draw last week against Adelaide United 3-3 with a late, very late show from Cam Woodfin to get that single solitary point. So they're not in the best of form. So I mean, this was is still with 5 minutes to go, still an opportunity for Berks to make it count.
The good thing is, it's up for grabs for both of these teams.
Certainly is. You'd have to think that a goal in the next couple of minutes could be the winner here. Here's Fortunato for MetroStars.
Kick off a nice celebration following the Friday evening late game too, which is always good.
Here's D'Angelo. He goes long looking for Satira and finds him. He can't bring it under control though. Morris cleans up. Windsor puts him under a lot of pressure here. And eventually he just goes out for a corner, but Metro really putting the pressure on him there.
Yeah, they've dialed it up, Metro. Underlines your point, they're not going to be content with the draw situation here.
No, I don't think they are. As Hamish Gower looks to swing this one in on the far side. Watch the run for D'Angelo to go far post, and it will go far post, I think. And it does. Goes near post, and there's McNamara with a free head, and he's unable to get that under the bar and goes over the top.
Had open net in front of him there. Just another instance of that. Metro Stars could be very well kicking themselves
come the end of this game.
Yep.
They very well could be. As, I don't think he got a clean head on that, though. I think that come off his head and shoulder, and not the shampoo and conditioner. And saying that, he might use that, I don't know. He does have had a head of hair, Noah McNamara, unlike us two in the commentary team. Goes long. Harpers goes long. D'Angelo wins it, and Chiradini cleans up, and Matsumoto comes away with it and wins the throw in the end.
Struggling to keep it under control.
Ostrike looks to go short. Eventually, he allows Fortunato to take this, and he goes short to Ostrike, and Ostrike goes back to him, and they're able to play out that way, and Fortunato runs it down the line and goes long looking for Windsor. Windsor plays in McNamara, who's been quite impressive playing out of position at left back tonight, I have to admit. Here's Windsor. Satira, cleared by Morris.
Yeah, we've had a bit of front row seats for McNamara, and you've got to say he's been pretty effective, I think.
I've found him to be quite an impressive left back. Here's Satira in the corner. He looks for the corner and doesn't get given that corner, and Matsumoto wins the goal kick. Certainly, Harpers is certainly taking his time here. They're certainly not in any rush. So you can see clearly that Berks will be happy with a 0-0 draw by the looks of it, I think.
Yeah, again, it's just a tricky situation. The 3 points would accumulate a lot quicker than one. So for me, just mathematically, you may as well go all out for the win rather than just settle for not getting a result here, especially when they have already ended up with a draw on 4 different occasions.
Becker gives the ball away there and with the handball. But Metro are the ones that are certainly pushing for that winner. They're certainly not happy at 0-0 at the moment, whereas Burke seems to be a little bit more happy to sit in and take their time. D'Angelo's blocked there by Blackwood. for Birkalla. If they'd have been able to make that pressure count when they made those changes, Simon, I think that could have been something. But the changes have now seemed to have been able to be counteracted by Metro.
Yeah, I think in general, just they've had a couple of moments, but they haven't been as long-lived as Metros. They've just been more consistent.
Here's Chittadini unable to beat the two Birkalla players.
And to that point, Birkalla really just relying on that pressure and even those those rare slip-ups from MetroStars as well to open up their opportunities. But MetroStars, they've got a more reliable tactic and system with the way they do things.
Blackwood finds Becker after holding the ball up well. Becker cuts inside his right, crosses, finds Balambra at the back post, who's unable to bring that under a spell. And I tell you what, if he was able to, he would have had a 1v1 there, Simon.
Yeah, I think he obviously came on not too long ago. A cooler head may have had a bit of an easier time of that.
Yeah, someone that's probably got the pace of the game. He did come on quite late. But yeah, someone with the pace of the game might have been able to bring that under control a bit quicker and get a shot away. Here's Ostrike for Metro as we approach the 90th minute. 90 minutes played. Here's McNamara. He goes back to Fortunato, who goes long looking for Chittadini. Finds him. He's able to keep it and find McNamara and plays a nice little 1-2 with him and beats Balambra and wins the throw. McNamara's going to go long and finds Windsor down the line, but Matsumoto's there to cut it out. He goes back to Harpus, and Harpus doesn't hit that right, and Chittadini cannot bring that under control, and the ball goes out for a throw.
Colour just looked like they were feeling the pressure in that instance.
Here's Chittadini, wins the ball back for Metro, and Windsor crosses and finds Porter, but he can only control it into the arms of Harpus, and Harpus quite happily takes that one. And then slows himself down as we are in now. Time added in this game. We don't know how much time there will be of time added at this stage. I thought there might be a little bit more than just a minute in the first half, but we should hopefully see 3 minutes at least with all the substitutions being made. Here's Windsor. He finds Mollis. Mollis approaches. He goes wide to Satira. Satira gets into the box. He beats one. Gets the cross in. It falls to Windsor, who hits it, and Harpus with a great save. He cuts back inside and eventually cleared by Birkalla. Again, just that final moment. Here's Satira from 20 yards, hits it, blocked by Morris. Birkalla come away with it. Here's Welsh. Welsh goes, finds Blackwood on the far side. Blackwood just holds on to it, does very well to keep it. And goes back to Morris. What a moment of football there. We thought that Metro, when that ball came through to Windsor, I thought that was going to be the winner. And he hits it, and Harpus gets across and makes the save.
Yeah, Harpus doing more Harpus things.
Yep.
exactly what to expect from him.
Especially this season, that is for sure. He's been in fine form this season, and he's just continued it with another great save there.
It's just yet another opportunity for MetroStars that they'll be feeling they should have been able to capitalise on. I was saying for a good part of that second half we weren't quite having him, and I think since probably that midway point we've probably seen 3 or 4.
Yep, exactly. Harpus goes long, looking for Welsh. Welsh doesn't quite win the flick, and Gal eventually clears. Porter up against Christophilos, and he wins that one. Still does well and gets away from Christophilos, who does bring him down and also goes into the book. And you'd have to say that as we have played 92.5 minutes, Simon, we can't be too far away from that final whistle, so this could very well be the last chance of the game for Metro.
I'd really love to see a result either way, just given how back and forth it's been.
Yep.
So just to have it,
Gal goes far post looking for McNamara, but cleared by Matsumoto and then further by Devro. Blackwood brings that under control. Loses out to McNamara. He goes inside and finds Fortunato, who finds Chittadini, who's been outstanding this half. Finds McNamara the cross, and it's gone in! It's gone in! There's the goal that's given Metro the 1-0 lead, and it's come off Morris, who's managed to turn it into his own net passer. An unbelievable Harpus tonight. It's taken his own player to score.
Well, I was just saying a second before that, I'd love to see a result tonight. I did not expect it, and I did not want to see it in that way. Really unfortunate. Wow.
No.
93 minutes.
93 minutes.
This was stalemate.
And in the end, it's come from across from McNamara. Morris has put his foot in the way, and all he's been able to do is just deflect it past Harpus into the far corner.
The only thing that could beat Harpus was one of his own defenders.
It was. It was in the end, and it took some effort too. He's put that in the bottom corner as MetroStars have taken a 1-0 lead in the 94th minute. And you wouldn't think there'd be much time left for Berks to get a result out of this, to even get a draw now. As it looks like RB Mollis is down in the with possibly cramp. He has been all over the park tonight, RB Mollis. He's covered a lot of Ks.
Well, we said at the start of the game, it'd be interesting to see how West Torrens Birkalla make MetroStars play tonight, and they've definitely covered some ground. They
certainly have. They've put a lot of pressure and forced Metro to play a lot faster than what they're probably used to be honest. Metro don't normally play this quick. Yes, they play quick and they move the ball fast, but I think the pressure Birkalla have applied has probably aided in the speed of MetroStars. As RB Mollis will need to go off as the trainer has come on.
I didn't have that on my bingo card for the game tonight. I was not expecting that. Wow.
No, we certainly weren't expecting that to be what's turned out so far to be the defining moment of this game, an own goal. And you feel for Morris because he's been outstanding at the back tonight. He's him and Lacornia have been a wall along with Harpus at the back. And here's Chittadini on the break for Metro. Goes inside and finds Satira. Satira goes outside to Windsor. Windsor in the box. Has the time, looks up, crosses, finds Satira at the top of the box. He shoots and saved again by Harpus. Harpus down low, well, and that brings us to the end of the game with Vidicchio blowing the full-time whistle. Simon, we can breathe. What did you think?
It was a strange game.
It
honestly.
certainly was.
It was just an arm wrestle the whole time. It had moments of excitement, and to be honest, moments where you're kind of thinking, will something actually eventuate? Despite both teams, really pacey, sometimes you just do feel like you need an outcome. The outcome, though, I didn't expect to be an own goal decider in 94-minute mark or thereabouts. I said 30 seconds before, I'd want to see a result here, but that just does not feel like...
It doesn't feel like a result, does it? No.
It's not justice.
It certainly doesn't.
Wow.
Birkalla's certainly going to feel hard done by there. They defended so well for majority of the game, and they had their moments. Metro had more, but in the end, Metro have come away with the 1-0 win here at Jack Smith Park, which puts them up to about 13 points. Birkalla do drop into that bottom position now with Mowbray winning earlier tonight thanks to One World LED and Sportal Scoreboard for all your indoor-outdoor LED solutions, as there is one game still continuing, and that's in the 85th minute, and that's Adelaide Comets and Adelaide City. And Adelaide City are 2-0 up over Comets, and I don't see... I won't say anything because Comets do score late goals, so I'm not going to say anything on that one. But if you can and you want to see the final few minutes of that game, please switch over to that one on the FSA Leagues. Simon, thanks for joining me tonight.
Thank you very much. Pleasure.
And we will see you, like I said, get out to games tomorrow. There's plenty on action in State League 1, State League 2, WMPL, WSL, and obviously the RAA MPLSA. Simon, enjoy your call tomorrow on the WMPL. Back here,
5:30 tomorrow. The ladies looking to back up their first win for the season.
Yes, they will be. So tune in if you can. And that is all from us tonight here at Jack Smith Park. MetroStars winning 1-0 with the goal in the 94th minute. Good evening, and we'll see you on the next game.